Hi, and welcome back to Keep Smiling with Larry Rifkin. I'm Larry Rifkin. Today I wanted to talk about probably the emotion that drives us the most. I would say the base emotion for everything that we do, everything in life. Everything comes down to one form of another of love, and how much love we have and how we see things. We've talked in the past about, changing our thoughts when a negative thought comes into our mind and recognizing that and replacing it with a positive thought. And we've spoken about how to get positive thoughts. But if you think about it, everything that makes us feel good or that makes us happy or peaceful inside comes to us in some form or another from love. To everything that we do, if we think about it, and I'm not talking right now about romantic love. I'm talking about universal love and coming from a place of loving the people in our family, of loving the people that we work with, of loving the people that we interact with on a daily basis, and the people as a whole. If you think about it, anything that makes you feel good originates from a place of love. Think about the first time you saw the car that you're driving. The very first time. You went to a dealership or you answered an ad or you saw it on the road. And the first time you saw it, you thought about it and you thought about seeing you in the driver's seat. You fell in love with that idea. The first time that you looked at a house or the condo or the apartment that you're in. The first time that you saw it and you're picturing what possibilities are here, you're coming from a place of love. You're loving seeing yourself in that picture. You're loving seeing yourself in that situation, even with what you do for a living, what we do for a living. Picture it, the first time you thought about it, when you answered the first ad or were going to make the first call, and you pictured in your mind yourself in that position and helping that company and contributing to that company and moving up the line. You fell in love with that idea and that concept. All this and everything that makes us feel good really does come from a place of love. And if we can realize this and recognize this and start our interactions with other people, whether it's face-to-face interactions or over the phone interactions, or it's 2013, electronically through email or through texts or through inboxing, if you come from a place of love and of happiness, you exude that and put that out. And that's the base emotion to everything. I know in the past we've spoken about the two emotions, the emotion of love on the plus side and what we move toward, and the negative emotion being fear and what we move against. But everything that's good and happy and successful in your life has come from you being in a position of love. You saw yourself there. You saw yourself contributing. You saw yourself contributing to the company or to the culture or society, and you loved that. Now, if we can take these feelings that we have, and this goes across the board, this isn't just for objects. Obviously, as we're talking to people, when we talk to our children, first time we saw our children, every good feeling in our body, in our world, in our universe, comes from a place of love. So, now if we can recognize this, and we can halter this, and we can say, okay, the object of the law of attraction or vibrational matching is to keep our thoughts positive. How do we keep our thoughts positive? It's by thinking about something that we love. in my mind, when I start to meditate or when I start to do anything, I put myself in my happy place. How'd I come to my happy place? My happy place is a place that I love. My happy place in my mind is sitting on the edge of the water on Siesta Key, my rear end in the sand and my toes in the water, overlooking the water, and the moon that's coming up on the horizon, and I love that. And from that area, from that picture that I can put into my mind, I can put myself into a place of love. And I can start to relax, and I can start to still my mind, which is important for me on my path and the way that I meditate, to slow down my mind and to still my mind. And I can do this because I place myself in a situation or in an environment that I love. And if you look around, there's beauty everywhere, every day, in everything that we see. And if we look at it and we look through eyes of love and coming from a place of love, you'll see the more that you look at, the more beauty that you see. Your world will revolve around positive feelings because we're putting ourselves into a place of love. So if you can set that mental picture of your happy place and start from there when you're meditating or when you're working or when you're trying to calm yourself down. Or you're sitting maybe at nighttime. You just finished reading a book and you want to think, and you sit back and you think about places maybe that are on your bucket list. And if you think about your bucket list, every one of those things are things that you've seen yourself doing and you love. If your bucket list is to climb a mountain, that's something that you see yourself doing that you love. If on your bucket list is to see and go backpacking through Europe or wherever, that's because you love that feeling. Once we can start to recognize that we can change our thoughts by changing our environment in our mind and coming from a place of love, by putting ourselves in a situation that's surrounded by love, our happy place, and we talk about it a lot, especially in life coaching, is still your mind. We need to recognize the negative thoughts, release them, let them go, and replace them with positive thoughts. Remember, everything like attracts like, and our positive thoughts are what we're sending out to the universe. And it's what's going to come back to us. Also, the same thing with vibrational matching is in order to raise our vibrational frequency, which is what we try to do in vibrational matching, we can do that by surrounding ourselves with love and putting ourselves in a place of love. So think about things that, again, maybe you wanted to put on your bucket list, things that you want to do now. You want to sail the seas. That's something you've always done. You picture yourself doing that. All of a sudden, you can feel everything inside you start to bubble up. When you talk to your children or your spouse or your significant other or whoever it is, when you see them through eyes of love, all of a sudden the communication flows a little bit easier, a little bit less work to do it, and it just flows naturally because we're coming from a place of love. So that's one thing. We want to come from a place of love so that we think about it, we replace the negative thought that has left our mind, we replace it with a positive feeling. Now, everyday situations, and we talk about this all the time. You get into your car and you're driving to work. The person in front of you decides to go 6 miles an hour on the highway and leave their turn signal on. for the past 18 miles, and you feel yourself getting angry because you can't get over, if you let that anger go and you see yourself in a situation that makes you happy, that removes you from the feeling of frustration and the feeling of anxiety that's building up, you release that and you replace it with the positive thoughts. And we do that by coming from and going into a place of love. The most basic of all of our emotions, of everything that we do, of every interaction that we have, comes from love. So, if we, again, this is very important. It took me a long time to recognize this. If we want to change our world, remember, we can't change anything really outside of us. We can only control us and control what we think. And as we control what we think, that will bring different positive circumstances and positive situations and positive people into our lives. So, in the way that I find, the easiest way that I find, is to, obviously, number one, recognize that you're frustrated. Know why you're frustrated. Know that you can't really do anything about it right now. If you can, do something and change the situation, and if you can't, we accept it and we replace the frustration with coming from a place of love. The reason that I chose this topic is a very personal reason, to be honest with you. I have a son that's been very ill and in and out of the hospital for the past 2.5 months. Severe asthma, severe allergies, hasn't been in school in almost 3 months now. And I noticed that looking at him, I spent the majority of the time with him in the hospital room, and I stayed with him around the clock. And I realized that I looked at him with such love and such admiration and respect, and all of that comes from love. And then I realized that everything that makes me feel good, that makes me happy, that makes me satisfied, that makes me content, that brings me joy, comes from a place of love. I happen to very much enjoy dealing with people. I think that I help people or assist people, and I guide people. And I like to think that when people have an encounter with me, that encounter is a positive one, and that they walk away better, happier, wiser, more satisfied. And that, I realize, is something that I've loved. And I love doing that. This path that I'm on is not one that I had planned. I was in the corporate world for years, running large companies. I ran all types of companies, from small startup companies to Fortune 200 companies. And I wasn't satisfied. And it wasn't bringing me the happiness, and although it brought me a lot of many good things, many good experiences, but I didn't feel complete and I didn't feel satisfied. And I've been able to follow my passion and do what I love and help to get that message out to as large audience, or as large an audience as possible, to set up a global portal so that people can see this. And I enjoy it. I think I'm pretty good at it. It's what I've been told and it's what other people have said. And it's because I'm following my passion. I'm finally doing what I love to do. So now, once again, if we take that feeling of love, satisfaction, contentment, joy, and we realize that we can really plug that into most situations that are out there, even frustrating situations, challenging situations, issues, and we take a breath and we still our minds for a moment, and we recognize that we're frustrated. It happens to all of us. We're all human. We're all having a human experience. Spiritual beings having a human experience. And we recognize that we're frustrated and that there's a situation that is bringing us down or lowering our vibrational frequency. We recognize it, we address it, we let it go, and we replace it. And once again, anything that you do that comes from a place of love, you're going to replace it with happier thoughts, because you're surrounding your emotional being, your spiritual being, with this feeling of love. And it's now in your mind. You can see yourself in the Swiss Alps. I guess these must all be on my bucket list. Or you see yourself on a beautiful, yacht, out doing whatever it is, and enjoying yourself. You now can take the situation, replace it, come from a place of love, bring in positive thoughts, and see your situation in your daily life coming from a place of love. You'll be much happier, and you'll attract much more positive situations and circumstances into your life, into your world, and into your universe. I hope this is information that you were able to use. I look forward to seeing you next week, and until next week, have a wonderful week, and remember, keep smiling.